everybody, welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces. So today we are talking about the film Alien Romulus. I just recently went and saw this. I had a good time. I enjoyed watching this film. It was very interesting to see some of the choices that were made, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. The film came out, I believe, around August 16th or August 18th, 2024. It was directed by Federico Alvarez. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. I apologize. The writer, it's going to be difficult to pronounce as well, just to say out loud. I really kind of like him as a director. He directed the remake of Evil Dead. He did Don't Breathe, and of course he now has done this Alien film. And he's working with the same writer that he used, named Rodo Sayagüez. Sorry. This person also wrote Evil Dead, the remake, and he wrote Don't Breathe, and he directed Don't Breathe 2, and now he's written Alien Romulus. So this team is doing very well, I believe. It was, of course, produced by Scott Free Productions and Brandywine Productions. It's also a Disney production because, of course, Disney purchased 21st Century Fox. I was very surprised while watching this film because of the cast. The cast is very young, and honestly, I believe them to be very wholesome. Not the actors. I'm not talking about anything backstage. I'm talking about the characters. The characters in this film are very, very different than the characters I've seen in any Alien movie. Alien films are generally very sort of dirty, worn down, in desperate need of repair situations, right? They're miners. They're people who work really hard for a living and need to make sure that they meet their quota so that they get paid, right? They talk about unions and they talk about bonuses. And that's what the Alien casts have always felt like to me. But this movie does not feel like that. These kids, they're kids in this movie. These kids are basically living out their lives as indentured serfs. They're from a mining colony. Their parents were miners. But now that their parents have passed away, they just want to get off the planet. So there's this really weird difference in this movie from other Alien movies, where you've got these really wholesome young kids. I'm using the term wholesome because I feel like it's a term that young people use today, and I don't fully understand the meaning of it, of course. I understand what wholesome means, but I feel like for this new generation, it's an important word that means something specifically to them. And I feel like this cast kind of embodies that, which is a very interesting, cool choice that this director made. I feel like if you haven't ever seen an Alien film, you might really love this movie. Number one, because you have to be young to have never seen an Alien film, for starters, right? So I feel like you've got to be part of this new generation of film watchers. But also because a lot of the surprises that Alien films pull on you, you won't know. You will be surprised watching this film if you've never seen an Alien film. Now, if you're someone who's watched all the Alien films and who loves the early stuff and has problems with some of the other ones and blah, 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 I'm not positive what you'd think of this because it just sort of seems like a retelling of the original movie, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't want to go so far as to say it's a reboot. It's definitely not a reboot. It is its own little weird story, but it really is covering a lot of ground that the old films have already covered. And that's another strange thing about it. And the director has said specifically that he wants it to take place between Alien and Aliens. So he wanted a lot of the technology and stuff that you see in Alien and in Aliens to be kind of melded, to be like this mesh in the middle between those two films. Now, personally, I don't know that I would enjoy watching this film. If I'd never seen Alien and I wanted to watch them in order, I don't know that watching this film before Aliens is a great idea because I feel like it might spoil a lot of what happens in Aliens. I don't know. This is a weird movie. It's a successful movie. It's a well-directed film. And we did have fun. I felt weird watching it because I felt like I was just watching Alien again, but like I should have brought some young people with me who hadn't seen it yet or something. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't made for me. That's for dang sure. I really believe this film was made for younger people. But it is a good movie. It is a successful movie. If you want to go see a horror film and you don't know anything about Alien, I would absolutely recommend this 100%. As a hardcore old Alien fan, I think it's okay. I think you could enjoy it. Just don't expect too much out of it. You know what I mean? It's just the same old thing again. And that's okay, because we don't have a lot of that, and Alien is a good movie, so having a little more Alien is all right. Okay, so I want to get into some spoilers now. So if you haven't seen it and you do want to see it, stop watching now, because I'm going to ruin a bunch of stuff. Also, I'm going to get into some spoilers from Alien and Aliens. Don't watch if you want to see those films still. Having this really young cast was such a shock for me, because their storylines are so innocent and young that putting them through this meat grinder that is Alien was pretty shocking, to be honest with you. Like watching more miners, right? Watching older people who work in the mines just go through another Alien film, I think would have been a mistake. I think it probably would have hurt the success of this movie. But it's really weird casting these young people and making them so innocent. Like, there's no sex scenes in this movie at all. There is one moment where a person takes off some of their clothes because they're going to go into hibernation. It's kind of a callback, of course, to the first Alien, where Sigourney Weaver takes off a lot of her clothes before she goes into hibernation. This person doesn't take off nearly as many clothes as Sigourney Weaver did. But that's like as close as we get at all to anything adult or sexual or typical for a horror movie. But it's really gross at the same time. It's this really weird combination. I mean, a lot of them have never seen sunlight before, right? Like the big deal for them about going up in space to try to get onto this spaceship so that they can get out of there is the fact that they'll see the sun, because they live on the dark side of the planet. So there's this big deal when they fly over the horizon in their ship and they get to kind of see the sun come up, you know, within their window. They see the sun for the first time and they're feeling the sun's warmth. And it's a very weird culture that these young kids have that are stuck on this mining planet. And it makes for a very interesting film. Because, of course, Alien just tears people up. That's the whole point of the movie, I believe, is to just put people through the worst thing that you could imagine to scare you. They do the whole thing with guns that they do in Aliens, where the guns are beginning to run out of ammo, and they're just praying that the aliens become afraid of the guns. They do the exact same thing in this film. Of course, there's a chest burster scene, just like out of the first Alien film. I was a little bit surprised by this one because it comes on so quickly. Like, I feel like from the moment the face hugger grabs her to the moment of the chest burst is like 20 minutes. Whereas in Alien, I really appreciated that so much time passed because we thought John Hurt was okay, right? We thought his character was fine and they were all eating dinner and everything was good. And then suddenly, bam, of course. I personally do not believe you could ever make another Alien film. I think the power of Alien and the reason that Alien is so successful is because of all the stuff that we didn't know about Alien when we went and saw Alien. The whole time you're wondering, like, why did they wake up? What's this weird signal that they have to go check out? An alien ship, what's up with this weird alien ship? And then there's that huge guy, right, sitting in the chair and his chest is burst open. And you're like, what is up with that thing? And then there's the weird mist with the color. And then there's the eggs. And you're like, are those eggs? And then one opens and you're like, oh my God, that must be the alien. Why is that egg opening? And then it sucks on his face and it melts through his helmet. And it's so creepy. And they have to cut his helmet off of him. And you're like, what is that thing? And what's it doing to him? And then they finally get it off. And you basically kind of think the movie's over, right? Wow, they lived. It was so scary and weird. And then, of course, the chest burster comes out. And that is like topping everything that you've seen before that. And then you get to see this insane alien design, this H.R. Geiger thing. Like all of those reveals throughout that film are so intense and so scary and so well put together. The fact that one of the guys is a robot, when she hits him and knocks his head off, and then the white blood is shooting out, and you're like, what the heck is this? I mean, it's all of the reveals in that film are just terrifying. And once you know them, they'll never be the same. You know, you can't forget, you can't unlearn it. All you can do is just watch it again. And that's okay, you know, but you'll never capture that again. Ever. There's never been a monster movie that has topped Alien. You just can't do it. So that makes going to see another Alien film for me kind of difficult because you just know what's going to happen. And Aliens was cool. It was a smart idea for James Cameron to say, okay, I'm not making Alien. I'm going to make an action movie. I want guns. I want Marines. I want explosions. You know, I want it to be a war film, not an alien film. And I think that was a really, really brilliant choice because it saved him from really being compared to Alien. It's probably one of the greatest action movies ever made. And this film did just straight up copy those. Just no questions asked. They literally are doing things that are exactly like a lot of the Alien films that were made. It's just ripping off a lot of Alien, which is not a problem because it's an Alien movie, of course, right? But they did that really unique thing of having the people affected be different. And that's interesting and that is strange. And I did appreciate that. So I do believe this film is a success. I'm really glad that I watched it. I do recommend it. Even if you are an old-time Alien fan, I think it's fun to at least check it out. I do want to comment on the weird Ian Holm robot. There's a robot in this called Rook, who is supposed to be the same model, I believe, as the robot that's in the original Alien film. So they just used his face. Now it's basically his face from Lord of the Rings, because they didn't capture the motion capturing and the face capturing that they did in Lord of the Rings was a lot more extensive than, of course, what they did in Alien. In Alien, they were just filming people. But in Lord of the Rings, right, they want him to kind of become Gollum, especially when he sees the ring, right? His Gollum side is supposed to come out and they do that face change, that sort of scary part in Lord of the Rings. So they did a lot of face capturing there. So these guys took some of that stuff from Peter Jackson and used it here in order to create Rook. And I don't think it was very successful. It's really weird looking. I feel like they built a torso and they built a head with a blank face and then they put Rook's face over it. They put Ian Holm's face over it. But this is weird. I feel like the face is too small. It looks weird to me. I don't think the face is large enough to fit on the head. And they did use a lot of practical effects in this movie. A lot of the alien creatures are practical. They're not CGI. But they had to do CGI for this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button. And please make sure to subscribe because we have so much other content for you to check out. And have a great day.